Welcome back to CasualBiasRugby. This is the official match preview for South Africa taking on Ireland in this summer internationals. Obviously, we start off the weekend with a brilliant game between New Zealand and England, but this is the big one. This is the one that I'm looking forward to. As you know, I am South African, and before you say I'm biased, look at the name, people. It is CasualBiasRugby. Anyway, in this video, we'll be looking at the team sheets for both teams. We'll look at some of the history between the two teams, give our prediction for the teams or for this game, see where both teams can really get an advantage in this game. And then obviously, I am a man that likes to put my money where my mouth is, so we will look at some of the betting odds. And if you are a man like me that also likes to put your money where your mouth is, there is a sneaky little link, the first link in my bio that you can click on, just see what there is on to offer. Register for the app, or you can just download the app for yourself and use code CASUAL to get in the mix with it. Anyway, without any further ado, let's get into it. Starting off, we'll start with the South African lineup. In the 1-2-3, we got Ox the Steamroller in chair, Bongi Manambi, Frans Malherbe. Rassie hasn't joked around, okay? And we didn't expect Rassie to joke around. This is a massive game, massive hype around it. I've seen in the Safa's Unscripted comments, obviously that's the podcast that I run with two other Safas. If you do enjoy this profile, you'll enjoy that account even more. It's three of us just talking as pure rugby fans and giving our opinions. But I've seen people in that comment section that said the Irish there's not been that much hype around it in Ireland like there's been in South Africa. And that's kind of, I would say, disappointing to hear, because I think this is massive hype around it. Obviously, you have South Africa, that's the world champions, but there's the caveat behind it where we didn't beat Ireland. And fair enough, we haven't beat Ireland in quite a while. So in our opinion, this is a massive game. This is a game where we prove ourselves. And then also for Ireland, it's a game where they prove it themselves, where it's like, okay, yeah, we had a slip up against New Zealand, but that game was so close and we could have beaten you in the final as well, because obviously we beat you earlier in the tournament. Anyway, Oxen Chair, Bongi Manambi, Frans Malherbe, no real surprises. I did think we might see Malcolm Marx to start the game, just because I'm of the opinion if a guy is injured, maybe start him instead of bringing him from the bench, because you can always just take him off if he really struggles. Where if Malcolm comes on and he's not up to standards, he has to play the rest of the game. But obviously, it's all about combination work. We know Oxenche and Bongi usually plays together. Frans Malherbe always starts, so no real surprises there. Moving in to the locks, in my opinion, the greatest lock pairing on the earth. Eben Etzebeth, absolute brilliant. Name speaks for itself. And then Franco Mostert, that player that just does the dirty work. I've always said it, just does the dirty work. He tackles. He's a menace at breakdown. He makes lineouts for the opposition team dirty. I think it was Franco Mostert that was a menace for the lineout in the lineout at the start of the game against Ireland, where they struggled at lineout time. So he's absolutely massive for us. He's one of those players that just goes under the radar because he's not that flashy. But he's so good, so underrated. Obviously, you have Captain Rugby, Captain South Africa, Siya Kolisi. A lot of criticism around him in terms of should he have been playing. Obviously, got the criticism from, I think it was the CEO of Racing 92. Rassie has come out and backed him, said, listen, Siya's the captain of the team, and he's the number 6 of the team. Is he the best 6 in the world? Is he the best 6 in South Africa? It's up for debate. I probably think there is a bit better than him, but what he brings other than his playing is so much bigger. Like, his captaincy is so good. The aura that he brings. We heard the crowd going crazy at Twickenham just when they showed the camera on the guy. His leadership and what he does to this team is just out of this world. Therefore, he deserves that 6 jersey. I would also have gone for Siya in that 6 jersey if he was available. Obviously, we look at South Africa before the World Cup started without Siya. We weren't really in the favourites box, but as soon as he came back in that game against Wales, I think he played 60 minutes. He was running like there was nothing wrong with his knee. You just saw how the team played so much better. The decision making was better because it's just leadership that he brings, and we combined with the big leadership group that we have, he's vital to this team. And what a story! Obviously, he's got Siya Kolisi in that 6, Peter Steff to tackle in that 7 jersey, no surprises. And then in the 8 jersey, I would say it's a bit controversial because Kwagga Smith hasn't really made an impact in the games that he started. Obviously, he's one of the first names on the team sheet, but he goes straight to the bench just because of the impact that he brings on. Like, we've got a lot of players that start and we've got a lot of impact players, and he's one of those impact players. I would love for him to have an absolutely brilliant game. This is a massive game for him because obviously right on his heels is Evan Roos, who had a massive season for the Stormers. So I was surprised with Kwagga. I would have gone with Evan Roos and then had Kwagga on the bench, and I'll tell you who I would have replaced. But anyway, excuse me, massive game for Kwagga. Obviously, we work in combinations. You get the 9-10 combination of Faf de Klerk, Andre Pollard. No surprises really there. I thought we might have seen a start with Reinach and Sasha. Just to, in the second half, if the kicks start getting vital, the game's too close, you can bring a double World Cup winning combination with Faf de Klerk and Andre from the bench. But I understand with Sasha on the bench, you can fill more gaps. So Andre Pollard, Faf de Klerk, starting, you can't really have any issues with that. Centre combination, no surprises. Could have probably thought maybe Lucanio on, but you have no right to drop Jesse Krill on the form that he's been in since he's come back into this team. He's been scintillating, great in defence, great in attack. He's really found his feet. Damien Dillon, as always, does his job. Massive battle for him up against Bundiaki. And then, obviously, the back three, Kurtley Arendse, Cheslin Colby, Willie Leroux. It speaks for itself. Obviously, no Damian Willemse. You know I love Damian Willemse, but Willie Leroux, brilliant for the Bulls. You know how vital he is. He just reads the game so well. There is some question marks maybe around his high ball game, or how secure he is under the high ball, or maybe his defence. But everything else that he brings is so vital to how this team operates, especially in attack. He just marshals the team from behind. So brilliant. Obviously, the wingers speak for themselves. South African wingers with scrum caps. You don't need to add much to it. Moving on to the bench, obviously 6-2 split. Malcolm Marx, Gerard Steenekamp and Vincent Koch. I would have maybe liked to have seen Steenekamp start. It's the same story with impact players. Ox is so good from the bench, but he deserves that one jersey. We know how good he is. And the thing is, Steenekamp hasn't had that many games. Vincent Koch always plays from the bench. No surprises there. Salman Murat, that is the question mark in my opinion. No disrespect towards him. I just thought maybe, okay, you've already got Erge Snyman there, the Viking himself. Maybe Evan Roos getting that 8 jersey and then bringing Kwagga would have been a better choice. Obviously, Rassie knows way more than I do. This is just from a fan's perspective. Marco van Staden coming on probably at around 45 to 50 minutes for Siya Kolisi. Menace at the breakdown, massive game for him. We need our fetchers up for it. That's probably why we went with Kwagga starting, now that I think about it, because our fetchers are Malcolm, Marco van Staden and Kwagga, and you can't have all three of them on the bench. Who's going to get the ball at breakdown when we are defending? On the bench, unlucky for Kobus Reinach, but we've got Grant Williams and Sasha. You can't really have an issue with it. There are two massive talents in our team, and obviously I think Grant Williams is in there because he covers the wing as well. So if something had to happen, you can bring on Grant Williams. So let's say one of the wingers get hurt, you bring on Grant Williams, he covers the wing as well. Lightning quick, very good at scrum half. And Sasha, obviously, the talent that everyone speaks about. He's going to have a massive game from the bench, by the way. If it's close as well and you put the kicks on him, I'm stressing for his part, but as much as I'm stressing, I'm so excited to also just see him operating. Finally, next, we've got the Irish team. No real surprises there. I think we all kind of knew they'd go for, except for the bench, Porter, Sheehan, Furlong. I think they're going to play a long period of this game, probably between 60 to 70 minutes for all of them. Just because the drop-off in talent, I wouldn't say it's drastic. I wouldn't go as far as to say the replacements are bad, but they're just not at the level of these world-class 3 forwards. Porter, one of my favourite players to watch. I know we banter the Irish a lot, but this guy's so good. He is so good. Obviously, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, they speak for themselves. Joe McCarthy, world-class. Only a couple of games, but I'm already calling him world-class. Youngster coming through. But the fact that he's playing James Ryan out in that 4 position, taking over, massive game for him, going up against Eben Etzebeth. Obviously, Tyke Burn, absolute menace at the line out. He does his sneaky stuff. He runs immaculate lines. brilliant player. No surprises in the first 5, and then also no surprises at all in the forwards, because we got Peter O'Mahony, Caelan Doris, and Josh van der Fleer. I did go out and say on Saffers Unscripted that I thought Jack Conan was the better choice for 6, not realizing that he's out. I would love to hear your opinion. If he was ready, would you have rather gone Jack Conan in that 6th position? Would you have given the captaincy maybe to Caelan Doris? I don't know. That's personally what I would have done. Obviously, you guys know a lot more about the Irish team than I do. But, I mean, world class. All around that forwards, they are just class. They're oozing class. Moving into the backs, you got Casey, so Conor Murray coming from the bench with experience. Casey taking that spot for Jamison Gibson-Park. Massive boots to fill there. I wonder how big the loss will be of Jamison Gibson-Park, because he is world class. Every time you think there's a debate with DuPont shows he's the best in the world in that 9 jersey, but Gibson-Park is up there. Like, the debate is real. Jack Crowley, in my opinion, better than Johnny Sexton. I think this guy's class. He offers so much. He's good in attack. He's decent in defence. And his creativity is up there. Obviously, massive centre pairing. Bundiaki, Robbie Henshaw. The first real surprise. I thought maybe they would have gone Gary Ringrose, but Henshaw's had a good season. Ringrose just came back, so I understand that he's on the bench. Bundiaki versus Damien de Allende, as I just mentioned. That is absolutely massive. And then in the backs, we've got James Lowe, Nash, and then Osborne. Not going to act like I know anything about Osborne. I would love to see James Lowe in the 15 jersey. Like, I'm not even bantering. I truly believe this guy plays like a 15. He's secure under the eyeball, massive boot. He's not necessarily the quickest. So what's the point in having him on the wing? I just think fullback is literally a brilliant position for him. Let me know what you think about that. And then finally the substitutions or the replacements. We've got Roden Keller, Cian Ely, Finley Beam, James Ryan Bird, all of them expected. The drop-off is it's quite a bit from the starters, but let's not act like there are any scrubs going there. Obviously, you have the experience of Conor Murray. He loves playing in South Africa. Obviously, he plays for Munster, and they love beating South African teams, especially in South Africa. Then you have Frawley coming on. Will be interesting. Will he go into that 10 jersey? Will he be going to 15? And then obviously you have Gary Ringrose to finish off the 23-man squad / team. So what do we think happens in this game? I mean, it's so hard to predict. You already know this is going to be a close game. I've seen some people say, listen, I've already seen some people say, listen, they're not feeling as confident for Ireland. But you can never write off this Irish team. We use the example of the Bulls versus Leinster because Leinster had so many Irish players. Altitude plays a role. And these guys have been acclimatizing. Now, yeah, they don't play there week in, week out. The South Africans, even though they don't play there week in, week out, they are there much more than the Irish team. But they will be ready. This is not like they've travelled last week or they've just travelled, got here, they played last weekend or anything. These guys have been travelling, they've been working hard, they've gotten acclimatized to some degree, and they will be up for this game. The physical battle will be absolutely massive. They will have to extend the period of time that the front row is on, the Irish, because the drop-off will be bad if they have to make any subs at 45 minutes and go and ask them to go against the Bok Bomb squad. And that's just the reality of it. Where South Africa will feel threatened is just the pace that the Irish play with. Their system is so good. South Africa, I don't even know, with the new attacking coach, it's hard to judge how South Africa will really approach this game. Will we go eyeball threat? Will we go running rugby? Because obviously we've got... name slipped my mind. The new attacking coach, I think it's Brown, that came in as the attacking coach. Will we try to run it from a bit deeper? Will we get that backline flowing? Will the chemistry be there? Obviously, the one thing about the Irish guys is, yes, their lineup might be predictable, but that just tells you how good the chemistry is between both teams. So let me know where you guys think this game is won and lost. I think it's at set pieces. It's usually sorted at set pieces for South Africa. If the game is slow, South Africa will have the upper hand. If the game's quick and you tire out some of our boys, it will play into the hands of the Irish. That's just the way that I see it. if we look at the history between the two teams, obviously, stand out. The Irish has won the last 3 games, 38-3, absolute battering in 2017 at the Viva Stadium. That was fair enough. A little caveat behind that. That's the worst period in South African rugby history under Alistair Coetzee, but I mean, we got to absolutely smash that game. Then 2022, 19-16, close game also at the Viva. Ireland once again getting the upper hand, and then finally in the World Cup in Stade Francais, 13-8, and that was what I mentioned in the start of the video. That's why there should be so much hype around it. You've got a team that's beaten the world champions 3 times in a row. This game is absolutely massive. This game means a lot to me. I don't even know how I would react if we went and lost this tour, like. Because then you truly believe, did we deserve that World Cup? That's kind of how it feels. And I know we won't like hearing it. That's just how it is. Obviously, I would like to hear the Irish perspective. If you guys win this tour, what would you say? Would you say you deserved the World Cup? Are you the #1 team in the world? I mean, there's so much to play for. So many questions that needs to be answered. Anyway, if we look at the betting odds, South Africa heavy favourites. The bookies got that completely wrong, even though I believe South Africa will win. Obviously, you always back your team. I'm going with South Africa to win this game by 8 points. But I think the bookies had South Africa at a 1.3 favourite, which is not great at all. So if you like a little underdog story and you believe the streak's going to continue for Ireland, don't hesitate to throw money on Ireland. If you do like just throwing some money on a couple of games, as I said, link in bio, or just download the BETWAY app, use code CASUAL to sign up, look at some of the offers that's there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what your official prediction is. Tell me what you think about the squads and what will happen in this tour. And obviously tell me, if Ireland wins this tour, where does that leave everything?